up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. We'll call it Talking Elite Fitness After Dark because we're recording this late on a Wednesday evening. Both Tommy and Lauren are...
It's Thursday morning for us.
Yeah, it's past midnight for you guys. Tommy is in Indianapolis and Lauren is in her domicile and outside of Syracuse, New York. I'm the only guy who's not in Thursday yet. I'm on the West Coast, so it's still just 9 p.m. my time. But it's late. We're going to get through this. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, how's everyone doing? Lauren, how are you?
I'm great. Tommy and I switched spots. He's in a hotel room with the good old internet of the hotel.
Yeah, it's weird, Freaky Friday. We swapped spots.
Yeah. Tommy will be participating in the first ever World Fitness Project event in Indianapolis, be in the booth calling the action with our good friend Jeremy Austin. That'll be fun. Looking forward to watching that. We're going to talk about that whole thing later because that's probably one of the biggest things that's going on coming up this weekend. We've got a lot of stuff that's happened this past week with the semifinals, some news around athletes, things like that we're going to get to. But before we jump into any of that, we want to thank our sponsor for today, and that is Kreatures of Habit. If you guys are looking for just a quick, great, nutritious, fast, good meal, check out Kreatures of Habit's instant oats called Meal One, popping it up on the screen right there. See you in health. And there's a good reason why that is their tagline, because every package of this oatmeal, which by the way, it comes in different flavors and I'm eating it every day and I love it, has 30 grams of protein. It's a massive time saver. It takes literally like a minute to make. You just pour water in or whatever your sort of mixer of choice is, stir it up, put it in the fridge, forget about it. Next day, you're ready to go. Great taste. I mean, the maple one is fantastic. They've got, they have strawberry, vanilla. They got like some other peanut butter, banana. They got some really great flavors, man. It's
7 different flavors to choose from.
Ooh.
Strawberry walnut.
That's it. Strawberry walnut. Yeah. So
you can add some fresh fruit, some berries, a little bit of almond butter.
And look, go ahead. Well,
use some use some Fairlife milk if you like a little extra protein, and no lactose for those of you that get bubble guts from the dairy. So
there you go.
Bubble guts.
The good thing is too, it has super clean ingredients because it was developed with your health, performance, and taste buds in mind. So you can feel great about all the choices that they've made to support lean muscle growth, increased recovery, and a happy, Tommy just mentioned it, gut. Head to creaturesofhabit.com. That's creatures with a K of habit.com. Use our code TEF. You're going to save 20%. You got blueberry banana, apple cinnamon. That's another really good one.
Oh, yeah. That
peanut butter banana, maple caramel, vanilla. Plain old vanilla.
That's easy to dress up. Of course, that's Sean's favorite.
Dude, I love. Yeah, you know why? Because you can add so much to it. Put some peanut butter in there. Put a little bit of chocolate. It's fantastic. Creaturesofhabit.com. They make a great product. I'm going to put the QR code back on the screen. So for those of you who are watching it, you can scan that. It takes you right to the website. TEF is the code, and you're going to save 20%. So big thanks to Creatures of Habit. Good people, great product, and we are happy to have them as a friend of the show. All right,
good guts.
Yeah.
No shoe in the dryer.
No. Speaking of which, I made a risky call tonight. I scarfed down some Chipotle. And let's just already, how do I put this? Let's say there's already bullets in the chamber, if you know what I mean. So
this might be a condensed, very fast-speaking episode.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Let's just say it has nothing to do with the tactical games.
No.
Well, this is a tactical game you're playing. But
I'm taking a tactical risk is what I'm doing here.
God.
Okay. Not to bring the mood down here, but there are some things we have to talk about, a couple of serious things. And the first thing we want to lead off with is the horrible news that came out of the Cholula games that happened. And this is an article May 3rd from Barbell Spin. This is where they did a good job of kind of summarizing what happened. But it was Friday, May 2nd. Nayeli Clemente was competing on a team at the Cholula games. It's a CrossFit license event. And I'm quoting for the article here, but during event 1, an event that ended with a team pyramid run, Clemente experienced a medical emergency that resulted in cardiorespiratory failure. According to a statement released by Clemente's team, event organizers did not have medical personnel in place to respond quickly. A doctor who was spectating was able to assist before medical personnel got to the scene. So I won't go into the rest of it, but that's what happened. I guess the competition went on because she was taken to the hospital, and then it was later revealed that she had passed away. There's a lot, wasn't there, didn't see what happened. Reading from the Barbell Spin there, they have a really good summary if you want to check it out. But I think the lesson is here, and we had Josh Hicks on the show a couple weeks ago, is that if you are running any kind of event, take safety seriously. Call Hicks, reach out to him. He will speak to you for free. He will help you out however he can. I don't know what else to say other than that. It's one of those things where you got to have it and you hope to God that you're never going to need it. But when you do need it, if you have a good plan and you have put the right people in place, things can be prevented. So please, if you're running any kind of event, reach out to Hicks, pick his brain. He will help you out.
He's so accessible too.
And free resources on safety for an event at top to bottom of running an event, from people who have experience writing risk management plans, leading teams at these live events, has never been more accessible.
Yeah.
And you don't want situations like that to have to be the wake up call for people. This certainly isn't an indictment on the event or the situation, because I don't know the extenuating circumstances of it. So I'm not going to make a judgment, but I do know that there are free resources out for events and event organizers that they can increase the response times, the safety, and the infrastructure of your event from a safety standpoint, and it doesn't cost you a dime. So.
Yeah, and he's at Pro Medic Hicks. I think if you look him up on Instagram, just reach out
to him.
To him. Yeah, he's someone who's doing a lot of great work in the space, trying to keep people safe, trying to help as many events out as he possibly can.
Yep.
But obviously, our hearts go out to the family of that athlete and the friends and everybody who was part of that. So please take safety seriously. Talk to Hicks. Really all he wanted to say about that, but just felt like we had to address it.
For sure.
Okay, we're gonna get the bad stuff out of the way first, and then we're gonna move on to more of the good stuff. So Rob Orlando, who is, what is that all about? Is as OG as they come, put this on Instagram. It was a picture of him in a hospital bed. And he wrote, "Life can change in an instant. Mine took a major detour just 3 months before my 50th birthday, and just one day after I set a personal best on the powerlifting total. On Sunday, January 19th, I squatted 550, benched 370, and deadlifted 605, totaling 1,525 pounds. The next day, on January 20th, I was officially diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in my lower jaw and lymph nodes in my neck. I've dedicated my entire life to healthy living, and somehow I managed to get an aggressive cancer, which required an equally aggressive treatment plan. On February 13th, at a body weight of 217 pounds, I walked into the cancer center at Yale and underwent a 13-hour surgery carried out by a team of 4 specialists. A large section of my lower jaw was removed, bone from my fibula harvested and grafted into my mouth, along with a few different skin grafts to cover it all up. 6 days later, I was rolled out of the hospital to convalesce at home." Damn. So there's more there on the post. He's starting to get back to seeing some physical activity, trying to recover. All the best to Rob Orlando. That fantastic human being. He was a guy that would spend a lot of time at HQ back in the day doing some stuff. And one of my fondest memories of Rob was when I think they did. So we, at the old HQ building in Scotts Valley, California, we shared it with some other companies, who all hated us for various reasons. But it was like a sonic imaging place. So they had some pretty precise instruments. So Rob down in the gym had people doing heavy stone grace. And all you heard for like 15 minutes was just these stones hitting the floor. And apparently somebody came down from from one of the other businesses and just like threw open the gym door and just started reading Rob the Riot Act in the middle of the thing. And he kind of went, whatever, and just kind of kept going. So
move on.
Yeah. Rob is, like I said, OG as they come. And
he was doing strength stuff before strength stuff was cool. I mean, he was doing his hybrid athletics crew, combining strongman, powerlifting, weightlifting, into the CrossFit regimen in a way that was super unique. I mean, you go back to 2010, he was a popular pick to win the games in 2010 because of some of the things that he was doing. 2010, he at the Northeast Regional, I believe, they did a 3 max clean and jerk, won it going away, 300 by 3, 15 years ago. Like before people were putting up those kinds of
unheard of back then.
Unheard of. And, he was doing, everyone's doing like, there's heavy Isabel right now and semifinals. He was doing that kind of stuff 10, 12, 13 years ago. Grace at 225, Grace at 315, like crazy, crazy stuff. I would say my favorite Robbo memory is 2011 games. He didn't finish the swim. And he got DQ'd from the swim, but they allowed him to finish the day of competition out before cutting in. You can go back and find it. It's on Rogue Fitness has it posted their day at the games for day one of the 2011. I think I actually make a cameo in that briefly. But he basically knew that he was cut and this was his last event. And it was the rope clean ladder where it finished with a clean and jerk at 225, which is crazy to think because that was the heavy bar back then.
Yeah.
Today it would probably open with that. You do 5 at 225, no problem. And people were struggling with it. And he just goes, I'm going to give him a show. Goes out and finishes the first jerk and lowers it back, goes again, reps out 4, much to the delight of the crowd, gave him a little something to chew on and bowed out gracefully out, from being DQ'd from the weekend. And that was like just Rob, right? Like he wanted to have some fun. He wanted to do cool stuff. He wanted to push his limits. And I think his strength feats inspired a lot of people to pick up a barbell and try strongman for the first time.
I remember I was in the crowd when he did that. That was my first games attending as a fan, and he was like down to my left. And and that was before those were the days before you had to cross the finish line. There were no lanes, and people were keeping time on the watches. So that was a cool event. So all the best to Rob. Wish him a really speedy recovery. Great dude, and hope to see him back at 100% soon.
6 weeks after surgery, he's back squatted 500 pounds.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What the?
He's just an animal.
Casual.
All the best to him, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah, and by the way, just a shout out to whatever genius figured out that you can take bone from a fibula and shove it in someone's jaw and make it work. Like who? That's just a whole nother level of intellect that I find baffling. So thank you to those people.
Stay in school. Study science, kids.
Science.
Yes. All right. Let's put the bad stuff behind us now. Let's move forward and just talk about fun stuff that's going on. In affiliate semifinals are done. And I'm going to put done's doing a lot of work in that sentence. Done in quotes because we still have
done for the athletes.
The review process, and then we'll find out. But if you go to the CrossFit Games website, games.crossfit.com, you check out the leaderboard. They do have, the top 11 men and women on there right now. A lot of familiar names you would expect to be there. And we will now see if these scores hold up. Because there were some, correct me if I'm wrong, there were some tweaks that were made to the video review process to try and make it more precise. Like people have
more involved.
People have to make comment. You have to have comments on things so you can kind of narrow down what you're looking at. So
is it public? Like if you vote, is your vote public?
I'm not sure. Let me just click.
I don't think it says who is behind the vote.
Yeah.
So if you just click on, I'm looking at Ariel Lowen's semifinal workout 1, right? So the number of votes are public. There's 41 good and 2 need review. So and I'd love to know what those 2 people are looking at when, now whether or not there's something behind the scenes there that you can figure that out, then that's, that remains to be seen. But review process. And again, I wish that CrossFit wouldn't put deadlines on review processes. And I understand, kind of why they need to, because athletes need to know if they need to take another swing at this thing. but it's important to get this right. Cause right now it's like Grace Walton for the women sits in 11th place. So she'd be the last woman in. Amy Kringle's only 2 points back.
Yeah. And honestly, like if everything starts adjusting, like when you apply penalties and other people factor in between them and other athletes, you also introduce more athletes into the fold whose scores affect the leaderboard that also need to be checked.
Yeah.
And even behind that, like Cara Milligan's 5 points back of Grace. And she's not the only person that's close right there, because 1 point ahead of Grace is Haley and Danielle. So any score adjustment for most of these would result in any one of them missing out on the games. And it's, I've been on the ground here in Indianapolis and talking to a lot of these athletes, and there's for the ones that are comfortably in a spot and they feel like they've maybe qualified, there's a sense of relief of like, oh God, this would clear up my calendar so much and I would not have to worry about this. And I can focus on other things. But at the same time, it's like, there's always that looming thing of like, are we going to have a situation like 2022 where it was like hundreds of score corrections are coming, which if they're needed, so be it, right? Like if that's what's needed to actually like govern this accordingly, great. But you just don't know until the final words say leaderboard locked, whether it's legit, more legit like the age group, or if they clearly just didn't watch all the videos or hand out penalties like in the team leaderboard. So,
well, that's the one that's the head scratcher to me, is that there was not a single score adjustment on the team side, not a one, right?
And there's videos all over the place of people like clearly not hitting the standard. So it's
okay.
Just, yeah.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Well, I was just going to say, like, when, hold on, I was on the men's side of the leaderboard. Just looking there, I think that there's a couple of interesting storylines. Enrico Zanoni, who has been an up-and-comer out of Europe, breaking through to unofficially make his rookie debut. You know, he's been doing the European semifinals for a couple of years. He was at the French Throwdown. And I know he's just been building in, like taking it more seriously and dialing it in between getting a coach and, teaming himself up with other athletes in Europe to boost his training. So I think that's cool to see him. And then on the opposite side of things, Jonakowski right at the cut line again, which, Tommy, you'll be able to see him at World Fitness Project this weekend, but also the same weekend as the French Throwdown, which is the European semifinal again. So it's like, will he get a last chance qualifier ticket to go to the games? Will he miss out again? Those are at least for the men, those are two interesting storylines.
Yeah. Quick leaderboard. Quick note. Enrico Zanoni has made the games before. A few years ago, he made it out of, Lowlands Throwdown. He was the last spot.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Enrico.
That was during the sanctional time, right?
Huh?
Was that sanctional time, or was that when it was a semifinal?
No, that was when it was semifinals. Okay. That was 2022, I believe.
Anytime I see that guy's name, I think about Enrico Palazzo from The Naked Gun. It's Enrico Palazzo!
Well, regardless, if you've ever met him, he's also a super happy person, really fun to talk to, very vivacious, and
sings a hell of a national anthem.
So good for him. Going again
in Italian. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people south of the cut line, right? Like Yona, Chris Ibarra's right there, Jack Rosema, Cornwall,
Quant,
the Sams, Quant, Nick Matthew. I mean, Bill Leahy. I mean, you go down BKG. Spencer Panchik, Fabian Bonito, Bailey Martin. There's a lot, Travis Mayer, a ton of athletes that are below that cut line that are, generally considered in the mix for this. So, there are North American semifinals coming. There is last chance qualifier. There is more semifinals globally coming, but
for the women, do you guys know who Syria Meha is?
I don't. That's the first time I've seen her name. Now I know there's other people who pay closer attention to worldwide. Yeah, but I'm definitely interested to find out more about her. That's incredible.
She's done some competing in, out in Europe and overseas, and I've had some conversations with people, with Brian and a few who have seen him compete quite a bit. And this would be, I would say this finish is more of an outlier compared to her live event performances historically. That's not to say she isn't incredibly fit, but
so look at an individual semifinal workout of 2, 12 good, 10 needs review.
Okay. That's 2?
Yeah, interesting. That's the workout 2 for, I just spot checked one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, all unofficial.
But look, Annika Greer, I hope that sticks. Did you see the post that she had where she actually posted on social media the reaction? Like, talk about heartbreak last year and just
I know.
Such a good kid. Like Ani. I'm so happy that this looks like it's going to happen for her. And I hope for her sake it does, because I don't want to even think about the alternative. But congratulations to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's heartbreak every year. It's been like that for the larger part of 7-8 years since she was in the teenage divisions.
Yeah.
Even the year that she technically qualified, it was the year that the teenage divisions got canceled.
Yep.
So
Haley Adams right there in 9th. Good job, Haley.
Yeah. Yeah. So, interesting. Miriam Von Rohr, just outside. Even like last year, she obviously wins the Open, but was like, a little outclassed, in live competition. But this one seems like a little step up. Maybe just the online environment's a little bit better for her.
Yeah.
And some of the adjustments in her training. But yeah, you go down. Lexi Neely, Sarah Kaya. Sarah Sigmundsson at 32nd. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah. Strong finish from her. Rebecca Fuselier, Sydney Wells, Paige Semenza.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people that are pretty decently far. But I will say this. I do think, and this, I don't want to make this our transition into it, but I will say that the stress of not making the games isn't weighing as heavy on some athletes, I would say, because it's particularly the ones that are a part of WFP.
Yeah, I think I can see why.
It's just like, I get to compete.
Yep.
And I get to have my ranking aggregated over the course of 21 plus workouts or whatever it is. They're calling it. And I get guaranteed live competition opportunities, sponsors, my travel's paid for, all this cool stuff. It's for the signed pros particularly, but which is cool. So while it may be surprising to see some of these names lower, some of the athletes just don't seem as worried, I guess.
Yeah, and I think for all the reasons that you mentioned, plus the fact that the prize purse isn't what it has been in the past this year at the games either. Okay, moving on, and after we do this, then we're going to get to the World Fitness Project, because I think we're going to spend a lot of time on that also, because not only because it's important, but because Tommy's there. But how about this? Katherine Davis' daughter and Brooks Lake are expecting.
By the time this comes out, we will also know the gender.
Oh, they're going to find out.
They're doing a post tomorrow or today, wherever you're listening.
Any bets? I'm going girl.
What's your guess, Lauren?
Oh God! Oh boy!
Oh, split. Nice.
Yeah.
I have to recuse myself from this vote.
Oh, you know.
Oh
man, lucky. But congratulations to them. Just 2 amazing people.
They're going to be great parents.
Katherine's going to be on the broadcast.
I was chatting with them when they were checking into the hotel today earlier, and was congratulating him and everything like that. And it's funny, like, I was on a Zoom call with her for one of our production meetings a while ago, and I had Miles on my lap, and he like kind of cooed, and he was just off camera, and she perked up, and she was like, "Is that your boy?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I pulled him up, and she her reaction was immediately like, And it's funny because I was talking with my wife, and she was like, "Oh, how did the meeting go?" And I'm like, "Oh, great, talking to Katherine, Annie, Katherine was really sweet, Annie was really sweet," and I was like, Kat was really excited to see him, and he made a couple coups, and she was all stoked, and she kind of head twist too, it's like your sensors start to go off a little bit of like, is that someone that's either like mentally getting ready or like is in that frame of mind? You know, like I noticed myself gravitating towards like if I saw friends or people that had small kids, like just chatting with them, kind of like information gleaning and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Let me tell you what, just you can save all the money on the testing. Just go find yourself an elderly Hispanic woman and she will tell you exactly what you're having. I swear to God, every Hispanic woman that we ran into while my wife was pregnant looked at her and said, boy, they batted 1,000.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. It was crazy. What is it?
Yeah, Tommy,
explain that.
It's the magic. What can Brown? What UPS baby? What can Brown do for you?
Oh my!
It was uncanny though, Tommy. They were all like every single one of them said the same thing. I was like, "What the?" And they were right. So
we had a few of them happen.
Really?
Rest her soul. My grandma isn't alive, but she probably would have been.
Yeah, she
ven acá, mijo.
Aww.
We'd walk over. She probably would have.
Yeah. That's basically what it was. It was like Yoda tuning into the Force, and they just said, boy. I was like, okay.
And they just kind of waddle off.
Yeah.
Into the ether of
right, and just start levitating things with their mind,
into the ether of abuelitas.
Oh man! But anyway, congratulations to the two of them. I will never forget. There was one year at was it 2022? I can't. Something didn't go right for me at I don't know what it was. I was in a weird mood. And it was in between events. I was sitting in the stands at the Coliseum in Madison, and Brooks was there, and he came up to me and he just could not have been nicer, said some really, really nice things to me, like really cool things to me. And it immediately just turned my mood around. That guy is such a great human being. He's going to be a fantastic father. So all the best to Katherine and Brooks, and looking forward to finding out
people.
Yeah, what the gender is. Okay, let's get into the meat of what we want to talk about, and that is the World Fitness Project, because that is debuting this weekend. Tommy's on the ground in Indianapolis. Want to hear from you here in just a second about kind of what the vibe is. But before we get into that, I want to thank another sponsor for today, and that is Thirdsy and their Rest and Recovery Collagen. We talk about this stuff all the time. It is unbelievably effective at not only helping you get sleep, but also recover while you sleep. Okay, it's just
Tommy.
Oh, you got it right there. Oh yeah.
Oh.
If you're listening and not watching,
I got one of the travel recovery packs right here, and this bad boy is. We're saying goodnight on this show. I might even crack it at PRs and no reps and just out.
Do it.
Oh, I love it.
Race against time.
But you've heard us talk about how great it is for masters. A guy like Jason Grubb, who uses it. Look, it's great for women who often face more challenges at different times of the month due to hormonal fluctuations, which impact neurotransmitters involved in sleep. Thirdsy helps naturally counteract overstimulation and supports deeper, more restful sleep, so women can consistently sleep well and feel more recovered in the morning. That's important. All right, so it just got all kind of great health benefits. It has GABA, L-theanine, magnesium, ingredients that are designed to calm your central nervous system, help you get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer. You can go to Thirdsy.com/TEF, and you're going to save 20% on their Rest and Recovery Collagen. And here's the great thing about it too. There's a lot of things that you take at night, like sleep aids or whatever. They taste like, not the best. I love drinking my Thirdsy. It's just refreshing. It's, it goes down easy, tastes great. I mix it sometimes in a smoothie. I take some blueberries and some coconut water, and I mix in my Thirdsy. That is delicious as well. So
with coconut water, that is a power move, Sean.
Yeah, thank you very much. Every now and then I get one of those things right. But Thirdsy.com/TEF, you'll save 20% on the Rest and Recovery Collagen. So please check it out. We love the crew over at Thirdsy.
One more thing about them that is, I haven't read this before, but apparently there's this new study that shows combining whey protein with collagen, there's collagen in Thirdsy, leads to even greater muscle growth, y'all. So you want to recover and get big and strong, just take your Thirdsy.
Yep.
I like that.
Get that pump on.
Good one.
All right. Well, let's talk about the World Fitness Project. First thing I want to talk about, they made the big announcement this past week that Adidas has joined them as a shoe partner, footwear partner. We talked a couple weeks ago, and I remember we had the conversation about, how many sponsors would it take to be, I don't want to say move the needle, but to be like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. And I said, it wasn't to me about quantity, it was about quality. This is a big deal. This moves this moves the needle for me. This is a major athletic brand looking at this new league and saying, this has some potential. Maybe we should take a look at that. I think this is a huge win for them. It's
agreed.
Impressive.
Yeah, and especially because it's a now obviously they're like, Adidas used to own Reebok. It's been sold off. It's different now, but you could argue that this is a sponsorship commitment at a, I would say, top tier level event. That's a first for Adidas, right? Like for the Adidas brand vertical. If you want to, go back to the days when Reebok was owned by Adidas, Adidas has not put their stamp on what I would consider one of the major, like upper tier, elite tier events. And this is not just one, but 3 of them now. And if you've watched any of the media coming out of athletes that are signed by Adidas, they're bringing more into the fold. They, like the Buttery Bros were over at Adidas World HQ, like filming a bunch of stuff there too. So it's clear like the fitness realm is something that's important to them right now. And Reebok's great. Nike's great. Nike's still a US based company, right? I think Nike's the powerhouse. It's the global powerhouse, right? Like this swoosh is iconic. But so are the 3 stripes. It's like I think internationally, like Adidas is a bigger get for a lot of like the Europeans and some of those ones overseas because of it's a European based company that was born out of I believe Germany. So it has a little bit global appeal as well, and it's still one of the I would say it's like between them and Nike as like the big 2. So it's a big deal for sure, and I think it's interesting that Adidas chose to get behind WFP and their 3 events. And honestly, this could be something that really catapults them if they're able to turn this into a multi-year partnership to kind of help anchor as a major sponsor. Like you look at the categories that exist for major sponsorships in the sport, the shoe and apparel one is arguably the biggest. You typically look at, all right, what's your supplement company, a nutritional company, something along those lines. An equipment type sponsorship, that's pretty much cornered by Rove, and you wouldn't really want to go with anyone else because they're the best. And they take care of their partners at live events, equipment sets, stuff like that. And then you're like, okay, well, where are the other opportunities besides that? What are you wearing? What are your athletes wearing? Footwear, like the shoes, like is a CrossFit obsession, right? Like it's such a big part of like the culture of what we do. So, it's an important one, and that's why the title sponsor of the games has always had a shoe as a part of their lineup.
Are athletes required to wear their stuff, like their shoes?
I don't know. I don't think so. I believe they'll have uniforms.
Okay.
But I think they're allowed to. I think it's very similar. They're allowed to wear whatever shoes they want. But I know there are a lot of athletes that are stoked to rock Adidas already. So.
Yeah, I mean, because this is a brand that does not need this space to be successful, like you just said. They don't need it. And for again, to me, we know that any brands that are endemic to CrossFit, ones that grew up in the space, any grip company or any, stuff like that, there's brands that are just, that everyone knows in CrossFit. But for someone outside of the ecosystem to look at something and say, yeah, we'll put our dollars behind this, to me, that is a good indicator that, okay, these guys might be onto something here, because you're drawing in people that they don't need this, but they're like, we should probably get on board with it.
Yeah. And I mean, Adidas has already come out with, 3 iterations of like their drop set, which is like their strength training shoe. They're coming out with another version of that, the drop set 4. Mm-hmm. They've got a couple different like high intensity interval training type shoes. Obviously, like the Ultra Boosts and the Shell Toes are iconic lines from their shoe lineups. So you get the cross cultural promotion. I also think it's kind of like one thing that I think gets slept onto a little bit is shoe companies that have shoes for casual wear that athletes are willing to sport that feel on the front end of fashion matter too. Like you whether it's like the Nike SB line, AJ1s or Dunks, stuff like that, like stuff that you can wear in streetwear, I think is also important. It's one of the reasons why I think Rad is a successful company in their brand identity. But like Adidas has that, the Sambas, the Shell Toes, and I just think I think that's cool. It's a great get. You hope it's also good for the sport all around, right? That regardless of what's going on, that a brand like that still wants to be involved.
100%.
So, and
I think it's great. I think that it is good to have a brand that's in other sports. Something I will be looking for, though, is if you go to just their Instagram account right now, just their main Adidas Instagram account, and you scroll through, you see all of these other sports. You see soccer, you see track, you see football, etc., etc. They also have individual accounts, like for rugby, Adidas women, Adidas running. Will they have an Adidas sport or an Adidas outdoor or an Adidas fitness, something that shows it? Because I think what brands that start supporting CrossFit or fitness sports, what they lack is showing that on their social media accounts. I'll take Tactical Games, for example. They are partnered with Under Armour. They utilize their Under Armour outdoor account, but even when you go to that, you don't see a lot of Tactical Games, even though that is the main sponsor. So I'm curious to see what the strategy is with marketing for Adidas, and if they will really help utilize their accounts to showcase this sport, showcase what fitness and what these athletes are doing. So while we see great stuff on, Laura Horvath's account with the partnership with Adidas, I want to see that on their main account or one of their main accounts.
No, that's a really good point. And, this might be one of those things where it's, let's see what this looks like. If it looks like it's going well, then we bump it to the next level. It's kind of what World Fitness Project is doing. Like, let's 3 events. That's all we need to do. Let's just get this one in the middle of the fairway and move it on. So, but that's a really good point to bring up, because how many followers does Adidas have on their main account? It's got to be in the millions.
29.3 million on their main account.
Damn.
Even on their Adidas Rugby, 280,000.
Wow. Okay.
3.1 million on their Adidas Women.
Damn.
3.2 million on Adidas Running. So.
Okay. Do we know, Tommy, have you heard anything about them putting like up prize money or helping, like is there any financial support there? Or
I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm not as involved on that side. So obviously this is all
just I'm curious if they've talked about it at all.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, so obviously we talked about it. You're in Indianapolis. You're going to be part of the broadcast. What have you seen there? You got there Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got there yesterday. So
what have you? Surprise! I was delayed.
Yeah.
No! Did you have the shirt in your bag?
I did not. I did not bring it. I didn't tempt fate this time.
Okay.
But, yeah.
What's the vibe like there?
Very upbeat. Mm-hmm. Very upbeat. So I got in late last night. I didn't get to my hotel till like after 1 o'clock or after 1 a.m. But the attitude from the athletes is one, I would say, like a little bit of nervous excitement,
mm-hmm.
And some hope. Like hope is, I would say, something that stands out. It very much feels like, hey, we could be on the precipice of something new and exciting that like we look back, we're like, yeah, I was there year one kind of thing, like it's the start of a new like music festival or something like that ends up being Coachella. And a lot of athletes are like very, I don't know, like in a really good mood, I would say, like very lighthearted and just like, oh, we're here, get to compete against a lot of high level athletes. And, they're doing a cool check-in process. They did activation at the
That was cool.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They did like athlete check-in or athlete like media stuff where they got like the jackets that they had custom made for them. They're doing some cool like media intros and stuff like that. They're having a lot of the athletes go and they're coaching classes and doing community activations at like a half dozen gyms today and tomorrow around the area. So all the signed pro athletes are like splitting up and spreading out and going to all these gyms and doing community workouts alongside of them, coaching them. They can participate as much as they want. Obviously, they have events going, but Q&A sessions with them afterwards. And overall, it's pretty cool. Like these really cool activations of getting involved and like getting into the community. And everyone just seems like in a good mood and upbeat about it, which is good. Because I do think like the community touch point, the like the check-in and some of the activation stuff, it's kind of like I don't know, like a sigh of relief. Like you felt it before. We've talked about this, Sean. Like coming off of the COVID years and kind of the hecticness that brought, like being back at live competition, you're like, oh, okay, there's still some magic here, And yeah, I just it's been kind of a cool mood. Like I was running around Mars, Heber, Julian, bunch of cool content creators, a lot of good stuff going on. I'm like, yeah, this is what it should be. Like we're all supporting each other and getting involved, and athletes are doing cool stuff. And now I'm just excited to see what it looks like on the competition floor. The build out looks sick. I will say, like, I've seen the renders of it. We'll see the final product in a couple days. They are not skimping on it, and the people behind it have done some very high level shows that you and I, Sean and I, would very much appreciate in some of our extracurricular hobbies, watching wrestling. So there's just some cool stuff going on, and I like what they've been able to transform this sports park into. I think it's going to look good. So.
Cool. Okay, so that brings me to my question here, because I think there are a lot of people that are watching. A lot of people are watching for various reasons, or are interested for various reasons. I think there is a group of people that thinks that this is the enemy and they want to see it fail. There's a group of people who think that this is the new way of doing things and they can't wait to have it. They really think they want it to be successful. And they think it's going to be successful. And I think there's a big group of people too. Like, I'm interested either way. Just want to check this out.
Yeah.
I do think the pressure is on for them to deliver right off the bat here, because, and the reason I say that is that whether you're, I don't care what camp you're in, you objectively have to admit that the space right now, the sport, is ripe for someone to come in and start something new that's sustainable.
Yeah.
Like whether you want it, like whether you think that's the World Fitness Project or not, like I think we all can agree that the situation is that. So I think World Fitness Project, even though they say they're not a competitor, they are. They're not trying to compete. They're offering a similar product in the exact same space. You are a competitor.
Is it fully similar though? Like,
yeah, no, it's a
like,
fitness competition.
What they're doing on the competition floor, like they're doing, like is the movements, the workouts, yes, but is the value proposition as far as like what you get access to as assigned pros at the same?
I think it's an opportunity for people to compete for money in the competitive fitness space.
Yeah,
and therefore you're competing.
I think in those broad brushstrokes, yes. But I think for a lot of that, like for a lot of the signed pro athletes, it's like I get guaranteed money.
Sure. And
I get guaranteed like access to compete against the best in the sport live 3 times a year.
Yeah.
They're going to be some of the best in the sport in the CrossFit Games season. That the only time you see them compete live is at the games.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to show up, 6, 7 months into the season, and you won't have seen them step onto a live competition floor.
point taken, but they're both competitive fitness endeavors.
Yeah.
They're both right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that brings me to my question now. Like, what do you guys, and Tommy, I know you can recuse yourself from this since you were involved, and that's fine.
That's fine.
But the question I wanted to throw out is like, what do you need to see? Like, what do you need to see you to say, okay, all right, this has some legs, or this is legit, or this has a chance now to survive, not only, past this year, but beyond, like it can grow. Like Lauren, I'll start with you. Like, what are you looking for? What's on your list of, got to check this off if I'm going to believe that this is the real deal?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, since I'm not there in person, I think that the viewing experience needs to be really good and easy to follow. What do the points look like as we get to the end of the weekend? Do we know where people stand? What are the graphics going to look like? What is going to be the storylines that are followed? Do we really get a sense of the athletes? I mean, I know the three of us and probably a lot of our viewers that are listening and watching have more of a deep connection to a lot of these athletes. But if I know we've talked about it before when like with Reps Ahead, if I were to go over to my parents' house this weekend and put on the live stream, would they be able to follow enough to have somewhat of an understanding or be able to start cheering for these athletes? And I'm not necessarily saying that needs to be just from the live stream, but the other content that World Fitness Project has been putting out, has it been able to get enough fanfare from their YouTube channel and the little tidbits of athlete highlights that we've seen? So I think that those are some of the biggest things. And then something that we won't know necessarily right away, but what is the experience going to be like for the athletes? What is their feedback when they step away from the competition? And do they foresee that this is something sustainable that they want to commit to? Because if the athletes leave after the weekend and they're like, it was unorganized, there was no athlete warm-up area, we like the same problems that it wasn't safe, or, we communicated this risk and, the things that they have continuously heard about, and it's kind of the same song and dance, then that loses buy-in. So those I would say are the biggest things that I would be looking for to know whether it's success or not. To me, it doesn't matter whether the seats are full or not, because everybody in the space is struggling with that. And that's something that I think like you need to build trust. You need to want to have so much FOMO that you're going to take personal time off or vacation time away from home, family, to want to go see in person. So to me, the spectator experience is less of a benchmark that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of those points, and I do think I think back to like the growth of Wadapalooza, right? And even though the live stream was never great for the early years, the media coming out of it, from the imagery, from the photographers, the content creators, the athletes' personal pages, always made it feel like it was a place that you wanted to be at, right? And so there are multiple ways to have a venue experience for people that aren't at the venue that create that FOMO and create that desire to have, hey, when they come to Mesa, I do want to go to Mesa, or when they go to Copenhagen, I do want to go, or if next year they announce, spots, like, activations in my city, yeah, I do want to go check that out. So I think, the presentation is definitely matters. I always go back to the same thing with like some of the athlete experience, like you mentioned. Does it run on time? Is communication good behind the scenes? When things inevitably hit the fan, because it's a live sporting event, how are things adjusted? And that's true for any event, whether it's the games, whether it's Wadapalooza, whether it's here, whether it's Rogue. Like, having confidence in your team, and that the show will go on in a way that's conducive to everyone involved, I think is important for sure. That definitely does build trust. And like you said, if the athletes have a great experience and they go talk to people, if volunteers have a great experience, if judges have a great experience, everyone's taken care of through and through. They go back and they see that experience to everyone else at their affiliates and at their gyms, or on the water coolers, at home, to their families. And that's how you start to generate interest at a grassroots level too. So I definitely agree with that, and I hope that the the presentation on this first round, even from like a just how it's lit and stuff like that, looks good. Because like those images of the first event, I think will be lasting for sure.
Yeah, I go ahead, Lauren.
Sorry, and just one more thing. The expectation is not that it's perfect, even though there's a lot of pressure and eyeballs watching it. It's how does World Fitness Project react and deal with the things that aren't perfect? And for example, there was this CrossFit competition that I covered a couple of years ago, and during an elite heat, sandbags started to explode on the competition floor.
Whoa.
Made amazing pictures that will never see the light of day because, of course, the sponsor of these sandbags does not want anybody to see they're exploding. But for example, how are you going to count those reps? How are you going to hold the integrity of the score? How do you react? And I know that is an extreme example, but I think the way that the imperfections are handled are another part of the benchmark or the grading system I'd be looking at.
Yeah,
and how that's the inverse of that is also how you lose trust too.
Lauren's an at symbol now.
Oh yeah,
the computer went to sleep. Keep going.
Yeah, because if you pretend like it's perfect when it wasn't and people know it wasn't, then that's how like the whispers and the rumor mill and all that stuff starts to generate negative discourse around you as well.
Yeah, because you and I have had those experiences where everything looks good on the surface, and then you start to hear those stories coming out about stuff that happened behind the scenes, and then this wasn't perfect and that wasn't perfect. I'm waiting for Lauren, by the way, to hop back in. Her camera's dead. But I will echo everything Lauren said about kind of what I need to see. Like, I know what this can't be. This can't be, and I know it's not going to be. But this can't be like iPhones on gimbals with crooked footage and bad audio. And like, I'm a big believer in dress for the job you want, and that goes for sports as well. I think if you want to be taken seriously as a sport, as a competition, you need to look like you belong with the big sports in the space. All right, Lauren's back. Here, let's do this.
Sorry, I was listening to you guys the whole time.
No, totally fine.
Technology. So if that happens, how are you going to react with that?
There you go. That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah. I will tell you that it's not iPhones on gimbals.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it can't be that. All right. So it has to be closer to what we're used to seeing as an ESPN broadcast for the games, or what Rogue does for the Invitational, or Arnold, like that level. I'm not saying it has to meet it, but it's got to be a lot closer to that side of the spectrum than the cameras that don't match and that, iPhones and bad audio, like that can't be that, cannot be that. So how do you present yourself? Like, are you taking this seriously and you present yourself as, we're a legit sport and this is how it's going to look. It's going to look like something that you would see on broadcast television. I have no concerns about, the people who are going to be in front of the camera. They're all professionals. Tommy, you're one of them. You know Jeremy Austin. Derek Forrest worked with him. Annie and Katherine are going to be fantastic. Lauren is amazing. All that's in place, right? But now, I don't know if the crew that's handling this behind the scenes has done anything of this magnitude before. So I think it's the pressure is on them to make sure that they can deliver, because there's a lot going on here. Like when you look at the Instagram posts that I think the World Fitness Project put out about how to watch, like there are long days in there. There's long days. And I don't know if that's, I don't think like long days are the best for the sport. I understand why they need to happen, because you got to get through all these heats of all these events. I would love to see that condensed into a more manageable time frame, but we'll see. I think like all the pieces are there. And to Lauren's point, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be very clear that it is not amateur hour.
Yeah.
Because and Lauren, you mentioned attendance. I hope the stands are packed, because I have a more general concern, a broader concern, that enthusiasm for the sport as a whole, regardless of what the league or the venue is, has been diminished significantly. So if views are up, if there's enthusiasm for it, that's what I want to see. And a full arena would definitely help assuage some of those fears. But if online there, you got a lot of people watching, peak concurrent is really high. be looking at that as well. Because again, I just have a general feeling from a lot of people that the enthusiasm for this, and I don't mean just World Fitness Project, I mean just live CrossFit competition in general, is not what it has been in the past. So I'm looking for signs that is not the case.
Yeah. And they're doing a lot of on-site activations from what I've seen.
They're doing everything right.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. They're doing exactly what they should be to encourage spectators. Do we have any idea what the spectator tickets look like at this point?
I don't know like total ticket sales. I know it's a more approachable price point, much more approachable price point than some of what you've seen, like particularly at the games this year. Obviously, is a hot, like an expensive ticket. I believe Rogue was pretty approachable price wise though. But yeah, I don't know exactly. I know that there's another potential big sponsor coming on too. So
yeah, no, that's great. I mean, like I said, I think that so far in what they're doing, like with the athlete activations, they put out press releases on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like they're doing everything that you would want to see a league like this do. But that's all. But now we haven't seen the actual product yet. So now we're going to see the product. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to tune in as much as I can to watch because I am like legitimately excited about this. I think that this could be something really good. Hopefully this has some legs because regardless of what the league is or the format, rising tide lifts all ships. Like, let's get the enthusiasm back for this thing. Let's get live competition going. Let's get people excited about watching, showing up. Let's get athletes, out there in front of the fans. And if this does it, then great.
Tommy, can you give us an idea of because like the broadcast windows do look so long, like are you and Jeremy on that entire time, or like how is that broken up, or what does it look like, or what can you share, what can't you share? I'm just genuinely curious.
Yeah, so obviously there's a desk show that they'll be going to in between. There'll be some breaks after that as well. So breaks in the day so people can kind of recover. There's the Challenger divisions, which will be live streamed. Jeremy and I will be on the call with that.
Oh, you're doing both?
Yeah, we're doing Pro and Challenger because really, I mean, it'd be 12 total heats throughout the day for just the Pro, and the Challenger only has 2 heats per division too. So we're doing both Challenger and Pro since they're all accumulating points. Gabby McGowell will join the booth with us for the Pro divisions as well. She may hop into the Challenger divisions as the weekend goes along. But yeah, so our plan right now is to do all of those heats. Now, granted, there are the teams and duos community events going on simultaneously as well on another floor that's set up there too. We will not be streaming and commentating that, obviously, but yeah. I honestly, it sounds weird. It doesn't feel like that crazy long of a day, and you could probably check in with me on midday Saturday, and I might sing a different tune. But I also think the 3-day competition weekend is a little bit more approachable than the 4.
Yeah,
that's weird as that sounds.
Sure,
yeah. Yeah. But and like just looking at the programming, like the longer test is the first one, right, with that 6-rounder. And then I don't know, like maybe just not having the 4 heats of every division, and the switch up between athletes with the challengers and pros makes it feel a little bit fresher too. And there's like, slightly adjusted weights, which to kind of create some separation between the 2 divisions, as well as the idea not just points are separated as well. So yeah,
are they reseeded throughout the day, each day by day?
Each day by day. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, and it's on YouTube, just World Fitness Project on YouTube.
So we have World Fitness Project's website.
Oh, okay. So
you can go website. It's a little bit different because then you can avoid some of the pitfalls of YouTube, copyright music and stuff like that. So
all right, so they're not streaming through YouTube and that's good to know.
You go to World Fitness Project website. You can get all the stream action there, and yeah,
good to know. WorldFitnessProject.com, not YouTube. World Fitness Project, and hopefully they're going to put more on that out because I think people automatically just default to YouTube. So don't go to YouTube. WorldFitnessProject.com. That's where you want to go to watch it. Okay, glad we brought that
Yep.
up. All right.
Yep.
Well,
I would say that there's a comprehensive schedule with the stream information in the body of the post as well, along with notes at the bottom pinned on the World Fitness Project next to the workouts upper left. So
great. Well, break a leg, man. I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah,
Honestly,
good
I
luck,
think it's going to
Tommy.
be.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Some of the tests I'm really excited to see. I think the first one with the run is obviously going to be fun. It's a running workout. The muscle ups and the lifting are just kind of a nuisance there. We obviously talked about this with Will when he was on the show last week, but I think it continues a storyline that we have of some of these running duels between like Jeff Adler, Yella, Ricky, Roman, James Sprague, like some of these dudes that can flat out like fly. And the way just like throwing the muscle ups and the snatches in there, the barbell in there is just enough of a nuisance and adds just enough of a break where you kind of get this cat and mouse game that I think you can really play. So that's super fun. Obviously the 1 rep max jerk, I'm excited to see that right into the Echo Bike sled push, which is going to be, I think another opportunity to kind of recrown, take the title of the king of the Echo Bike as Hopper and Sprague and Dallin like to job out. So there's some fun tests.
Yeah.
Heavy sandbag in workout number 2. Some classic like odd object midline thrashing stuff into some gymnastics with the handstand walk. Just some cool fun fitness,
right. Looking forward to it. WorldFitnessProject.com.
Also, sorry, one more thing I will say on day 1, and I'll definitely say this on the broadcast too. I think the beauty of what this sport brings is how there are so many different ways from a fitness and physiological standpoint to find success. And I think that is going to be highlighted in event 2 with Tola and Colton Mertens, pretty much 2 lanes apart on this heavy sandbag handstand walk. I think both are going to do really well. And they're just different shaped athletes, and they're both savages, and I think they're both going to do well in that test. And I think that's super cool.
Well, tell everybody we said hello, and if Jeremy Austin doesn't show up with a bag full of Tim Tams, you ship his ass back to Australia like that.
Sean,
you already have them.
Get the postage stamps. Because, to be fair, he had 29 hours of travel.
Oh man,
that man has been on a globe-trotting adventure, and first thing he said, he walks into our little conference room, and he goes, "Tommy, got bad news, mate. The Tim Tams didn't make it."
Oh,
and I looked at it, and I was like, "Everybody gets one, Jeremy. Everybody gets one slip up."
I've never seen Annie Sakamoto more angry than I did when she was on the broadcast team and Jeremy showed up like empty-handed with it. Like they weren't there yet. She's like, "Where the hell are the Tim Tams, Austin?"
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good to see you. How was the trip? But get the Tim Tams in here.
Yep.
All right. Looking forward to watching. Starts on Friday. What time?
I always get this wrong from a broadcast standpoint because our call times and our set times are always different than when.
Yeah.
So Pro and Challenger 1's 10:25 a.m. Eastern.
All right. It's going to be a full day CrossFit action. I'll be watching and looking like I'm trying to work at the same time. All right, let's. We have any community support that we need to get to before we let you two get to bed at this ungodly hour?
What time is it?
I don't have any new community support.
If anyone has anything, as I say every week, send it to us on our personal Instagram accounts. Send it to us on our Talking Elite Fitness Instagram accounts. Give us all the details that you can because we want to make sure we send people to the right spot to get you the help that you need. PRs and no reps. Definitely got a PR. Not sure if I have no rep.
I have both.
All right.
Okay, start with your no rep.
I'm going to no rep Marcin Sawyers and Heber Cannon.
Oh boy.
just because
fashion choices.
Sean.
An idea got floated out there for the end of the month, May. A little Marquez Bros versus Buttery Bros, High Rocks doubles.
Ooh, I will pay money to see that.
And
that's a good matchup.
They were coming at your boy a little heavy with the old matchup. Dad bod, you're at a
dad bod.
You know what? My money would be on you and Julian. Honestly, you're going to carry that team. You're going to carry that. You're probably carrying that team, but Julian's going to do just enough to get you over the edge.
I think so too. Julian's a great runner.
He's a good athlete.
He might spontaneously burst into dance in the middle of the workout.
His way across the finish line.
Yeah.
All right, so you're no repping them because they're challenging you to a High Rocks?
And they're talking a little trash.
No.
And it's I'm not gonna lie, it's motivating me a little bit. So if I can convince my wife to let me hit the road at the end of this month, you might see me in New York.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, all right. Lauren, you got a no rep?
Yeah, it's a broad brush stroke. I am no repping Fremont Street in Vegas.
Oh, Fremont. I thought you were going to no rep.
What?
Okay, go ahead. I think you're going to I've seen your posts about just the weirdos online. I thought you were
that's a whole can of worms.
That's another show. Okay. Fremont Street, Vegas. Got it.
Call yourself a sugar wolf and growl.
First of all,
spell it GROWEL. First red flag is if you send me a message that you clearly misspell something that it's not just like an auto, we're typing fast and you misspelled it. It's you intentionally misspelled it because you thought this word was spelled this way.
Let me just, all the fellas out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
No woman is going to be impressed if you tell her your nickname that you gave her yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Just don't do that.
I feel like you should have done that in Hank Hill's voice talking to Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Bobby, one day I will die.
You don't give yourself a nickname. And then you don't. Okay.
Yeah, his message made me feel like he was going to, if I went on this date with him, that he was going to abduct me and skin me and wear my clothes or wear my skin as his clothes.
Put the lotion in the basket.
And I tell my dad that after that message, I just delete and blocked him. And he goes, oh, well, that was kind of heartless. You should have explained why you weren't going to go on a date with him. I go, no, Dad, are you not listening?
Whose side are you on?
To what this person sent me? No, there's no explanation needed. You're growling at me. You're telling me you call yourself a sugar wolf. What? Goodbye.
Oh, God, baby Jesus. Okay, Fremont Street, Las Vegas. Sorry.
So I'm gonna no rep weirdos on the internet and Fremont Street because you should just run through that street with your eyes closed because you don't know what you're gonna see.
Why? You can get $5 games of crap still there and $5 blackjack.
Oh, $5 other stuff too.
Okay, I mean maybe it's for some people.
It's a good steakhouse there too at the plaza.
Okay.
Speaking with Tommy, I might be making a Vegas trip in June to see some friends, so I might have to pick your brain a little bit.
You're going to the Backstreet Boys concert?
God, no.
That would be hilarious.
I didn't lose a
bet at the same time for complete opposite reasons.
Wait, Sean, when are you going?
I'm not going to tell you.
I'm not going to tell you.
It's not concrete yet, but probably end of June.
Okay, maybe I'll see you there.
Maybe you will. Backstreet's back. All right. Okay. So you're no rep at Fremont Street. Tommy has. I don't think I have a no rep. I just got PR. I'm a PR Josh Everett. Did you guys see Josh Everett? The OG, one of the OGs of OGs.
I know who he is. What did he do?
Just cleaned. Let me see if I can find it on Instagram. Dude cleaned 300 pounds on his 50th birthday. And he did it in typical.
Clean it?
Oh my God, what an animal.
Let me find it.
Because it's funny, that sentence that you started with is also that famous sentence from Every Second Counts when he was just like, have you seen Josh Everett lift?
Look at this.
From John Wellborn back in the day?
Look at this. Here it is. 50. Watch this. Bam! Split cleaned it.
What?
Wasn't the prettiest thing, but split cleaned it. Good job, Joshy.
Oh my God.
Also continues the streak of making it 27 consecutive years of 300 plus.
That's amazing. I love that guy.
That's savage.
Congratulations, Josh. I had to PR that. And he split cleaned it the whole. I was like, oh, man. God bless
He
you,
hasn't.
sir.
He hasn't squat cleaned since
Ever.
the Bush administration.
Yeah, no, I still, one of my favorite clips from old school CrossFit Games, 2009 deadlift ladder, where he just like slammed that bar down and went crazy and just like beelined it back. That was awesome. So congratulations, Josh. That's impressive. Epic. Yeah. All right. Anybody else PR?
I'm going to PR actually. Someone we all know, Major Patrick Clark, for a gift that he gave me from going when he was stationed in Germany.
Oh,
so he was stationed in Germany, and he also like swung by Oktoberfest with Con Porter, and he brought me back.
Hey!
Oh wow!
A dad mug.
That's awesome. Look at that beer stein, man.
Oktoberfest.
That's
incredible.
incredible.
Look at that thing.
It looks like you drink the blood of your enemies out of that thing.
Exactly. I wonder if I would be the first to drink Thirdsy out of a stein like this.
Oh my God, amazing.
Put that on the sock meds.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, PR.
Yeah.
I'm going to PR audiobooks.
Audiobooks are great.
I've read so many books recently because, you think of, you get up in the morning, you do your routine, like face wash, brush your teeth, make your coffee, make your breakfast. What do you do during that time? Podcast, now audiobooks. My whole mind has been expanded. I'm able to keep up with what all the book clubs are reading through listening. So
good for you. All right, audiobooks.
Nice.
That's a good, intellectual, helpful PR. Audiobooks. No, I've bought a few audiobooks in my day. Like the Ready Player One audiobook read by Will Wheaton is phenomenal.
Will Wheaton.
Yeah, Will Wheaton.
Nice
stuff. King of the
I just listened to the saved recordings of Sean going 3, 2, 1, lift.
3, 2, 1, rotate. Here, I'll just do them again. So anybody wants to clip this off, they can use them for their show or for their event. It's for yours for free. 3, 2, 1, lift. Then you got to do 3, 2, 1, time. There.
People need to use that as like their
Public
text
access.
notification.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Rotate.
Rotate. Okay.
I love it.
Good luck, Tommy, this weekend. Say hi to everybody for us. Hope the crew's doing well. Tell Mars and Heber that I think you and Julian would whoop that ass.
Oh, yeah.
In the High Rocks. Heber's got to wear a Utah Mammoth hockey jersey, too, while he does it.
Dude, oh, yeah. Actually, kind of PR the logo.
The logo's not bad.
Looks
not bad.
Sick. Yeah.
It's not bad. I was like, okay.
Between them and the Kraken.
Yeah. I've been to a Kraken game, and that arena is fantastic. But my brother shares season tickets, and we went, and I'm like, how did they not yell, release the Kraken from the Clash of the Titans from 1982, I think it was? How is that line not being used? I mean, that's a huge miss, and they don't use it. Maybe they do now, but they don't. Yeah, release the Kraken, and then the crowd would go nuts. And, yeah. Okay, on that note, that's going to do it. Enjoy this weekend of competition. This is actually the first of 2 straight weekends in which one of the 3 of us will be calling action. Lauren will be part of the Fizz experience in a couple weeks. That's going to be a fun broadcast to watch. She'll be alongside Angelo DeChico and Chase Ingram. So good luck on that.
Lauren Smith on the floor.
It's going to be fantastic. And then Mother's Day is this Sunday. So please, call your moms, tell them how much you love them because they're
I should know that myself. I'm gone for my wife's first.
I'm gonna go. I actually am gonna be gone from. I know. Well, not my wife's first, but 5th, I guess, because I gotta go. My brother and I are gonna go visit my mom for her Mother's Day. So go visit Ma Woodland.
Happy Mother's Day to both of your beautiful, lovely
Thank you very
wives.
much. Thank you very
put
much.
up with both of you.
I know. I don't know.
That's the important sentence I put up with. Not with the kids. The kids are the easy part.
They are the easy part compared to crap I pull on a daily basis. All right, that's officially it. Good luck, Tommy. Break a leg. I hope the broadcast goes fantastic. We'll be watching, and we will be cheering for you and all of the athletes. Lauren, are you staying put this weekend? Are you gallivanting around someplace?
I'm staying put. I am competing in a local CrossFit competition.
All right.
On a team.
Well, may your squats be to depth and all your wall balls hit their target.
I'm going to do my best.
There you go. Uphold those standards. For Lauren and Tommy, I'm Sean. Take care of each other. Be better. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, it's good. I don't want to wait. When the feeling's right, I'm taking it.